So I just finished watching the Winx reboot and it got me so excited that I had to draw the girls again. I needed an excuse, and since Halloween is nearby, I thought, why not? Let's mix up Winx and Monster High. So for this video, I'll be reimagining the main 6 girls from Winx and turning them into Monster High characters. But for you guys who haven't watched the Winx reboot yet and you don't want any spoilers, just to let you know, there will be spoilers and I will be talking some parts of the reboot in this video as well, so just keep that in mind. But without any further ado, let's get started. So of course I'm going to be starting off with the group's so-called leader / main character of the series. And you know what, a lot of people in TikTok and online in general don't really like Bloom. And some of the reasons I got from those videos is that sometimes Bloom can be a bit of a pick-me and she can also be a bit of a hypocrite. And the majority of the complaints are actually her having main character syndrome, where she basically has a situation or she's in a situation and for some reason she reverts that situation back to herself. But in her defense, even if she does have all of the above, it won't really matter in my opinion, just because she is the main character. So whether or not she has or displays main character syndrome, I think that's quite alright, because that's the whole point of her. She is the main character. If we look back at the original show, she does display some Mary Sue type characteristics. So she was just an ordinary girl from Earth who then developed some sort of magical powers. Then she went off and attended a school of magic that happens to be quite popular in that dimension. Then she figures out that she's actually not only the guardian of the dragon flame or whatever, but she's also the princess of this long lost kingdom, Domino. The reboot kind of changes this though, just because they either justify the reason why she's acting like how she's acting or why she has certain powers, and they remove certain aspects of her characteristics from the original show to make her less Mary Sue-ish. So an example of that would be, I'm not sure if I interpreted this correctly, but in the reboot, she's not actually the princess of Domino. The princess of Domino, of course, is Daphne, but it's not really indicated that she's also a princess or the youngest sibling of Daphne. And instead, she is the sibling of what's his name? Damien. Now, both reboot and the original show had some similarities and differences in terms of how they showed Bloom's growth. So both of them have shown how much she struggled in controlling the dragon flame at the very beginning. But when it comes to actually developing the dragon flame, it became a bit different. In the original show, the way she grasped and controlled the dragon flame was a bit more steady. She kind of got used to it after a while. But in the reboot, it showed us how much more she struggled and how she was so insecure about hurting other people because of it. So I would say the reboot was slightly more in depth. Anyways, let's talk about her character design. So I based her off the Will-O-Wisp, which is a type of, phantom flame that originated from Scotland. It's a type of creature that's also tied to fire and light, and it's often depicted as this glowing light that leads travelers away. But they were also known to lead travelers into their destiny. And I believe we saw some of these creatures being displayed at Disney's Brave. So Princess Merida has actually seen some of these Will-O-Wisps when she was in the forest, in both when she was young and when she was, I think she was running away somewhere or she got lost in the forest. She saw them there. And the reason why I chose the Will-O-Wisp for Bloom is because of the direct mirror with the Will-O-Wisp's connection to fire and her connection to the dragon flame. The Will-O-Wisp's ability to both guide and mislead aligns with Bloom's own journey in her self-discovery and her struggles with controlling her dragon flame. For her color palette, I use these cool blues just because blue is predominantly, her outfit's color, and I wanted to incorporate that into her design. And also it's because when Will-O-Wisps are depicted, they're typically depicted as blue flames, so that's why I thought that would suit. I still wanted some red aspects onto the character, so I used reds and oranges as an accent color instead. And of course I added some fire aspects across her design as well. Next up, we've got Stella, who's the fashionista and drama queen of the group, and she's also a fan favorite. When I look back at videos about Stella in TikTok or in YouTube, none of them really have anything negative to say about her, which is, to me, slightly surprising just because she can come off as quite selfish and self-centered. Personality-wise, in both the original show and in the reboot, there isn't really much changes to her personality or her characteristics. She struggles with her responsibilities as a princess, but later on in the reboot we do see that it's more of she's insecure that people think she's not responsible enough to handle kingdom affairs. In both the reboot and the show, she's shown as this really helpful type friend who's always backing up her own friends. So overall, the reboot itself and the original show doesn't really have much discrepancies in between them. In terms of her personality, they're both fairly similar. And also, in terms of her relationships, her romantic relationships to be exact, I was a bit surprised with the reboot. This is because in the original Winx, she and Brandon dated quite quickly. I mean, there was some issues with their relationship not being honest in the first couple of parts, but aside from that, she and Brandon were linked together from the very beginning. However, in the reboot, as some of you guys may know, she and Brandon aren't really officially together. There are some interest between both parties, but they're not an official couple yet. And in the original show, the early stages of their relationship wasn't really explored. I think the most I can remember from it was that they were interested in each other and then they got together. So I really am looking forward to seeing how their relationship blossoms in the second season of the Winx reboot. So the type of monster I think Stella would be suitable for would be the changeling, which is a creature that's capable of shifting its appearance and identity. So when I look up pictures, and if you guys can look up pictures as well, I think I might insert one in here. If you look up the picture of a changeling and how they were depicted in early art, they're actually really, I don't know how to say this, they kind of freak me out. They kind of look like misshapen babies, and I didn't want Stella to look like a misshapen baby, so the way I interpreted the changeling is slightly different to how it is interpreted historically. I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was one episode where Stella got turned into this green monster looking thing, and I wanted to use that design in this design as well, so that's why you could see some green on her skin. So in this photo, or this drawing I'm making right now, I wanted you guys to see what she looks like mid-shift, like when she's just shifting into a different look. And the reason why I chose the changeling is just because, multiple reasons. One is because I wanted to interpret both the sun and moon aspect of her, and I wanted that to reflect on the duality of her design. And also because her main insecurity in the original series, at least, is regarding her looks. So on that episode I just mentioned, she got turned into a green monster. And she was really upset about that because she thought that Brandon wouldn't love her if she wasn't pretty. So with Stella's duality in involving both sun and moon reflects the changeling's ability to shift between different identities and form. Hence why I think a changeling really does suit her. And I mentioned earlier that I wanted to show you guys how she looks mid-shift as well. So this is why you guys could see that some parts of her are like the regular Stella and the other parts of her is this kind of more monsterish looking creature with blue hair instead. And I really wanted to show that to you guys because I really like the contrast between the cool and warm tone colors. I don't know why, but it's giving me Fiona from Shrek kind of vibes because I feel like she would be the type of changeling that would change her appearance depending on the time of day, and I thought that would be such an interesting concept as well. Next up, we've got Princess Aisha, and you guys may know that Techna is my favorite fairy. But for this video, Aisha happens to be one of my most favorite designs. I feel like I was the most creative with her, and I really like her color palette, and I really like her design as well. So I'm going to talk to you guys through that in a moment. Also, just a side note, you guys might see the previous characters I've drawn flicker on and off on the screen, and the reason why that's happening, that just happened now, but the reason why it's happening is because I wanted to make sure that all of the characters have the same proportions, if you guys know what I mean. Just because I've noticed that in my past videos when I'm drawing characters together and they're kind of like from the same series or something, they kind of have different proportions, and that really annoys me. So for this video, I wanted them to all be proportionally accurate to each other, which is why sometimes you'd see me bring in Bloom again, bring in Stella again. And the reason why I'm doing that is just so that I can control the proportions. Anyways, so let's look back at how Aisha was introduced at the original series. If I could recall this correctly, she wasn't actually introduced until season 2, I suppose. It was very shocking to me to see that Aisha was there at season 1, because I thought that they would be a bit more in line with the original story, but I guess not. At the same time, if Aisha is there, where is Helia? So, side rant, Helia is one of my most favorite, what are they called, specialist boys, right? I think he was very kind and very gentle to Flora, which is why I really ship them a lot. So where is he? Why is Damien there replacing him? I'm not a big fan of that. You guys can do you, but I'm not a big fan of that. And I want my boy Helia back. I'm getting a bit too worked up about this, so I'm going to leave that for the time being, and I'm going to talk more about him and Flora on Flora's part. So let's just get back to Aisha. So the original show really wanted us to take notes of Aisha's trauma. So she had trauma from the fact that her pixie friends nearly got kidnapped, potentially killed. I'm not too sure on that. I might need to fact check that. Her kingdom also nearly got demolished because I think they were so close to the Omega portal. Some of her people got turned into monsters because of Valtor, and on top of that, her kingdom got attacked by Valtor and the witches, and also the mermaid monsters that they created. She was also shown to have these really traumatic memories as a child from when she got like really stressed for having the responsibilities of a princess. And last but not least, she lost the love of her life, and she had to sit there listening to Bloom saying, "Revenge is not the answer." I need to calm down, hold on. Because if I was Aisha, right, and I've just lost one of the most important people in my life, and some youth is yapping at me saying that I can't take revenge, excuse me for this, but I would have bitch slapped her. But long story short, after all that she's gone through, and she's still a happy-go-lucky type girl, she's still amazing, she's still strong and independent. I think she's one of the strongest Winx characters in the whole series, in my opinion. And it tells me how adaptable and malleable she is. And speaking of which, some of her powers, I think it's called Morphix, right? That's one of her main abilities, the pink goo-looking thing, right? That reminded me of slime. It is basically slime, which is why I thought she would suit a slime monster. And I got really excited with this idea just because I could play around with shapes and colors and textures, and I really do like her design in here. So as you guys can see, her whole body is made of slime. The only issue I had is choosing whether or not I should choose pink or green, because her main color palette in this is basically green, but her Morphix is pink. So I didn't really know what to choose, so in the end I did go for both as well. So she has this dark green type of slime on the top part of her body, and then it goes down to pink, which resembles her Morphix. And you guys could see as well that I added some like shells and starfishes and that trident all across her design, just to tie her back into her kingdom, because her kingdom is like covered in ocean, or her kingdom is the ocean. Next up is another fan favorite, Flora. I just want to go back to the things I was saying earlier in Aisha's part about Helia and Flora. I just want to know what's going on, because why did her... I'm just so confused. Why did her love interest change? I was just so... I'm speechless right now, because I have no idea why the developers for the reboot even thought of this. I mean, out of all the damn characters, they could choose to have a different love interest, right? Because some of them are in a bit sketchy relationships, a bit of a toxic relationship. I'm talking about Musa, by the way. Out of all the people that they could choose to have a different partner, why did they choose the one with the healthiest relationship? Why? And I swear to you guys, I'm not the only one that feels like this, because I mean, she's with Damien right now. She has some interest with Damien, right? Who is he? He's supposed to be Bloom's twin brother, right? Which is alright. I really do find the concept interesting. I think that's really cool how there's two dragon flames. That's fine and all, but why is he her love interest? What happened? Because Helia was so lovely and sweet to her. He was such a gentleman. Wasn't he sending her like drawings and stuff? And I thought that was cute. What is Damien doing? What is he doing? Because all I see him do is flog her off. literally, and run away from her. Literally, the majority of the scenes we see Damien on is he runs away from her. You would never see my boy Helia do that. Maybe I need to calm down. Maybe I need to give Damien a chance, you know, because maybe in the future, in the second season, when he stops being a doormat to his dad, you know, or fake dad, whatever he actually was, maybe then when he and Flora gets a bit closer, maybe he will be the Helia that she needs. Maybe he will send her off drawings and stuff like that. Maybe he will be a gentleman. So I'll stop that for now and we'll give him a chance. Anyways, let's talk about Flora's personality. So between her personality in the reboot and in the original show, there's some similarities but enough differences to make me think that they're two different characters. In the original show, Flora was shown to be a bit more shy, she's a bit reserved, she's a plant mom, she's friendly and kind, perfectly fine. And in the reboot, she has something similar, she's still a plant mom, but she's kind of like a bit more of a scientist, because we could see her with those, like, what are they called, vials and potion looking things, and she had this briefcase full of them. So she's a bit more on the scientific side, kind of like a botanist side. And most importantly, she's not very shy. She's a bit more grounded, she's a bit more confident, and she acts like the mum of the group. So all in all, I don't really mind the small changes they had for Flora, because either way, both versions of her are really great. I mean, I have no complaints about that. And so, for the monster I chose for her on her Monster High version, I thought she would be a good fit for a forest dryad. So dryads are basically forest-like spirits that have the power to control plant life and protect nature, which is very much so similar to Flora in the way that she is the fairy of nature and how her abilities are also controlling plants and protecting nature. And the way dryads are typically depicted, they're kind of like humanoid. So they kind of look like women that wears tree barks and tree trunks as an outfit. If you guys search it up in Google, you guys would see what I mean. But I thought, you know what, that's really interesting to have clothes made out of tree bark, which is why you could see that, you know, she has this headpiece that look like tree horns, her chest piece are made out of wood, her boots are made out of wood, and I thought that was a really interesting character design. For her hair, I really wanted her hair to kind of look like a bush or a shrub, or it's made out of one, just because when I look at some images of dryads and how they are also depicted, some of them are depicted with human hair, which is fair enough. But I really wanted her and all of these designs in this video in general to look a bit more like they came from Monster High. So I did want to change her hair a little bit. I mean, if I were to have done this again in the future, I would have probably made her hair out of vines to reflect her original hair a bit more instead of a shrub. But we live and we learn. But out of all the girls I designed, I would say her shoes are my favorite shoe design, because it's just so interesting having the concept of wooden shoes is so interesting. We have clogs in the real world, right? And I was really tempted to give her clogs, but I decided not to. I wanted her shoes to kind of look like tree roots. Hence why they kind of look a bit jagged at the bottom part there. Now let's talk about her color palette, because I did end up changing this at the last minute as well. So you guys saw that I used green earlier. Rubbish. Hated that so much. It did not look anything like Flora. And I chose pink for the time being as well, but at some point it didn't look like Flora. So later on you guys would see that I gave her a more autumny type look. So I gave her brown hair back. It's kind of like an auburn to brown type color as well. And I've changed some parts of her outfit as well, like the coloring part of it, just to match with her hair. But you guys will see that in the end as well, just because I don't think the pink hair really suited her. Next up, we've got Musa, and I've been waiting to talk about this as well, because you guys heard earlier that I said that her and Riven's relationship, at least in the original series, they were a bit toxic. And again, I'm not the only one that feels like this, because I've seen it all across TikTok and YouTube as well. A lot of people could agree that she and Riven don't have the healthiest relationship in the original series. So the way that their relationship is developing in the reboot, it's much nicer. Don't get me wrong, Riven is still a bit reserved and withdrawn compared to the other guys that was introduced to us, but he's a bit more relaxed and chilled now. He's not just spitting out insults out of nowhere, but he's a bit more sweet towards Musa, and I think that's really lovely. And you guys know what scene I'm talking about, when Musa was about to perform and she's getting a bit of a stage fright, and he was there to just back her up, not just behind the stage, you know. He actually went on stage and did some of the, I guess, instrumentals at the background, which gave her the confidence to go ahead and sing, and I thought that was a very lovely moment. And he is so much better at comforting her now, you know, because they're not together officially, but we do see that there are some interest between them. And whenever Musa gets upset and he's around, if you guys look really closely, he does put his hand behind her back or on her shoulder. I don't think he verbally comforts her, so it makes me think, or it makes it seem like they're both just very reserved and shy people, hence why like these kind of actions may seem a bit awkward. But overall, I do really like the way that their relationship is looking at right now. I think it's very, very lovely. Now, going back to Musa, kind of like Flora, there is some similarities between her personality from the original show versus the reboot, but overall the personality differences between both versions are so different that they can basically be two different characters. So in the original show, Musa is also a bit snippy, she's a bit temperamental, just like Riven as well. But in the reboot, she's seen to be a bit more withdrawn, she's a bit shy, and in a way, sometimes she struggles to express her emotions. Her parental focus also shifted slightly, so in the original series, I mean, she was more concerned and upset about her mum going, and a lot of the times when she talked about her parents, it's always about how, oh, I miss my mum kind of vibe going on. But in the reboot, she doesn't really mention her mum too much. Her concern and insecurity lies with her dad a bit more, about how she can't provide for him. So there is a slight shift there. Now, for her character design, the monster I chose is called a Dijiang, which is a mythological creature from China, and it's known for producing these like resonating sounds, almost like hypnotic sounds. And these creatures are slightly strange looking because they have no face. They're literally just a lump of fur with 6 legs and a few pair of wings as well. And the reason why I chose this is not only because of her Chinese background, but also the fact that they both control or have some control over music and sound. And also with the way that the Dijiang is faceless kind of reflects on how Musa is introverted and also sometimes distant. And this fact alone is the reason why I kind of struggled with her character design, just because how can I draw Musa without drawing her face? You know, I mean, it would have been an interesting character design, but it wouldn't really be too interesting for me because I love drawing faces, you guys know that. So the way I went about with this is instead I gave it the face, of course, and gave her this mask. So it kind of seems like she has this mask that she uses to cover her face, and in a way that's also a symbolism of how she sometimes hides her emotion and keeps her emotions away from others. And I also added some parts of the Dijiang around her design as well. So for her hair ties are like wings, the shoulder pads that she's got are like wings, and on the shoes, on like her kind of ankles, there are wings. And of course, because the Dijiangs are depicted as these kind of like furry, fluffy creatures, I added some fluff across her design as well, which is why you could see that on her neck and then on her kind of shoes and shorts, and right across her outfit, especially around the tips of her blazer and her tights. I gave her these kind of like musical notes design just to tie her back in to her main powers, which is controlling music or controlling sound. And last but not least, we have Techna. So I'll be talking about her character design a bit because you guys might wonder what the hell she is. And just to confirm it now, she is going to be the daughter of a Martian, or she's going to be a Martian. I want to talk about the justification of this a bit later on, just because I want to cover her background and personality first. So, just like Flora and Musa, Techna's personality between the reboot and the original show has some similarities, but enough difference to make them both two separate characters. So in the original show, she wasn't really shy, she wasn't really withdrawn. If anything, she was a very well-rounded character. She understood emotions, she understood human emotions, she understood how her friends felt. She wasn't really out of place aside from the fact that she was really, really smart and she likes to create little gadgets. However, in the reboot, the characteristics are also fairly similar, but when it came to reading emotions and reading the room, Reboot Techna seems to be struggling a little bit for that. For some reason, they made Reboot Techna really shy, which is slightly off for me just because the reason why I really like Techna from the very beginning in the original show is because, as I said earlier, she's a very well-rounded character. She didn't really have much clear weaknesses. The only thing I could think of was because sometimes in the original series she can be a bit blunt, but aside from that, she was a very well-balanced character, and they thought, that's a bit too OP, so they gave her some insecurities. And I do have a theory on why the developers changed Techna's personality in the reboot. And my 2 cents on it is because, you know how in the Winx reboot, right? They want Bloom to naturally fit the role of a leader without her looking too much like a pygmy. And one way to do that is to present the other characters as people she can guide herself, which is why in the episodes during the reboot series, we could see that she talks to other people and kind of encourages them and guides them. And for Techna's case, that camping scene, right? She's a bit withdrawn, she doesn't want to socialize with others, and she's there acting like a leader. And Bloom, right? She's acting like the leader, and she's the one trying to lead the group into how to camp without using magic. And she's there encouraging Techna to interact with the group. She does this for other people as well, for example like Musa, and how she was encouraging her to get over her stage fright and stuff like that, and how she was one of the first people to actually defend Aisha when her parents caught her dancing. So yeah, I really do think that the developers want, it's kind of obvious, but they want her to be the leader of the group, and they want to justify that so that the audience don't really call her a pygmy, or at least they provide a valid reason on why she is a good leader and why she's a good fit. So hence why they have to nerf down Techna, because in the original series, as I mentioned earlier, she really had no weaknesses. She was smart, she was kind, she was brave, she was friendly, she was cautious as well. She's the strategist of the group. So in the original series, Techna really did not have any weaknesses that Bloom can compete with or can guide. And they certainly wouldn't make Bloom be really, really extremely smart, or at least compete Techna in terms of their academic skills, right? Because then that would feed into the Mary Sue characteristic that they were trying to avoid from the original series. So instead, the developers nerfed down Techna and gave into the geeky, tech-savvy stereotype that she's really good with computers but really bad with humans. And it is rather heartbreaking to see Techna go through that, just because in that episode where they had to go through a simulator machine, one of her worst fears is literally being thought of as a machine. I'm assuming that before she became friends with the girls, she didn't really have any issues with that, but then this kind of insecurity developed when she had friends. So that was really heartbreaking to see, in my opinion. And a lot of people I seen on TikTok as well, they said something about that, and they didn't really like that scene. Not in a way that they hated it, but in a way that it's really sad to see that Techna is going through that. Anyways, earlier I mentioned that she was going to be a Martian, and we know from Monster High that there are a couple of characters that are kind of machine based, for example LED and Rebecca, but I wanted to go for a different approach. But again, Techna is my favorite character, and in the reboot, she doesn't want to be seen as a machine, so I wouldn't design her to be a machine. So I wanted to stray away from that character design. But instead, I thought about how she acted, and in a way, she's quite out of worldly. She's quite different from the other girls in terms of her personality and in terms of her design. Being a technology fairy is also very, very unusual, just because fairies are typically tied down to nature. A lot of the girls have a nature-esque or natural organic type powers, and Techna is the only one that seems to have technology based powers as well. So I wanted her to look very, very different. I know it looks a bit gross right now, but you guys could probably see that her head is kind of transparent. She has this kind of helmet going on that shows her brain, and that's just, again, my way of saying she is going to be very, very different. And I think it's a really cool design as well, because I've never done something like this before. And to match that transparent vibe that I was going for, I gave her these lava lamp shoes, which I thought looked really cool. Well, that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys like these designs. I tried to be a bit more unique with my character designs this time, just because I really wanted it to look like it came out of Monster High. And that I didn't just slap the Winx girls and put some fangs and wings on them and then claim that they're Monster High. So I really wanted it to be a bit unique this time. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And while you're there, let me know how you guys feel about the Winx reboot. Do you like it so far? Is it alright? Do you not like it? What do you guys think about the new changes and all stuff like that? I'd really love to read all those. But anyways, that's all for now, and I'll see you all next Mango Monday. Bye!